And we're back with more squid merch, or as I like to call it, squirch. See, these are squid eggs, and if you put them in hot water, incubate them for at least 4 to 48 years, give them a good sniff every now and then, they will turn into small squids that will suck your flesh. Moving on. With all of these firings, departures, and prison sentences passed out to what feels like the entire Trump administration, the Donald finds himself a little short on staff. But probably the biggest loss to the president could come with the jailing of his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. See, the Kush isn't like any other staff member. He's tasked with negotiating Middle East peace, ending the opioid crisis, fixing the housing market, and saving all homeless veterans. With such a heavy workload, what would the president do if Cushy was found guilty of taking money from Russians, the Saudis, and maybe the mafia? Well, fret not, commoners. With one of the greatest minds to grace humankind, our commander-in-chief has devised an ingenious method in determining who will take the place of his son he actually wanted. See, the president noticed something special happening in the month of March. People were going mad. Not mad about tariffs or possibly sneaking porn stars into the White House. No, there was an actual madness, a March madness, if you will. People were united like never before as they filled out brackets, analyzed brackets, and critiqued brackets. Every channel the president flipped onto had a game on, and every person had a degree in bracketology. No, the president could not let this level of unification pass by. That's why he created the greatest, highest rated, no collusion with Russia, possibly most watched bracket ever. You'll see an all-new slew of characters, each with their very own special set of skills that would make Brian Mills quake in his boots. In the first matchup, we'll see resident liar and guy he said he could have shot the Las Vegas shooter if he was there, Sean Hannity, face off against possibly the most aggressive president in the history of the Union so far, and whose parrot was removed from his funeral for cursing too much, Andrew Jackson's corpse. This is going to be a tough fight for sure. Jackson may be actually dead, but Hannity's long been dead on the inside. We'll see who comes out on top in this race to the bottom. This next matchup features two individuals equally obsessed with money. On one side, we have the Papa himself, big man, Papa John. Papa's obsession with better ingredients came up short consistently if you've ever tried his pizza, but it's not the only time Papa's come up a little small. Who can forget who can forget his epic rant about people exercising their First Amendment rights, or how it was bad for business? Or that time he refused to raise the cost of pizza by 25 cents, even though it would insure all of his employees. When it comes to pinching pennies, it's hard to out-pizza the Papa. Unless, of course, your name is Rich Uncle Pennybags. Papa's competitor, the man with the stylized mustache, has forced friends and families to sit around tables for inordinate amounts of time, with rarely any end in sight to his never-ending game. His fake smile taunts you as you slowly descend into the sixth ring of hell, all while feeling the pain of what it's like to be in a capitalistic society with no money and enemies at every turn. Thank God you'll never experience that in real life. This is definitely a match to keep an eye on. Going down the bracket, we have C-list actress Stacey Dash facing off against President Trump's favorite abolitionist, Frederick Douglass. Douglass was a predominant voice in the fight to end slavery. His teachings and beliefs were so strong in the mid-17th century that President Trump believes the man to still be alive to this day. Maybe he is. Who are we to say? His competition, Stacey Dash, is an activist in her own right. Dash, who's currently building a run for the congressional seat based out of Compton and other parts of southern Los Angeles, has called for an end of both Black History Month and BET. Her reasoning, we're all already equal. Why separate ourselves anymore? I wonder what her opinion on Black Lives Matter is. Rounding out the tourney is father of 9 children and villain of the only PG-13 Expendables movie, Mel Gibson, versus the guy with the worst henchman in cartoon history, Skeletor. Gibson has a lot going for him already. He loves Jesus, loves the military, and had a rant about how evil Jews are. Not much more to say there. But let's not sleep on Skeletor. His advantage of working with a group of bumbling henchmen could endear someone like Trump. He could relate to Trump, like very few can. But is that enough to win? Skeletor sure hopes so. Who will win this race to Trump's heart? Can Stacey Dash even be a son? What about Don Jr. and Eric? Who's Barron? Why is this skit still going on? Okay. For consumer request, here's an inspiring story. Next week, when reporters point out the piles of cash next to Kellyanne Conway, she'll quickly shove it all into her mouth so that poor people won't steal it. That's right. Once again, the White House press secretary shows how selfless she really is. Here to talk about her heroism, please welcome Kellyanne Conway.
Oh. Hi, thank you for having me, Ethan.
Yeah, of course, of course. First, I'd like to talk about...
Wait, are those cameras? No, sorry, no cameras. I don't allow that. I don't allow cameras.
This is a television show.
The president has advised me not to get in front of any cameras.
You agreed to be on a television show.
Listen, if it's an absolute essential for the interview, I'll allow it, but I would really prefer we get rid of the cameras, Ethan.
We're not getting rid of the cameras.
Fine.
Now, we're hearing reports that you're actually so determined to protect large amounts of unclaimed cash that you would go so far as to stick the unsanitary bills directly into your mouth. How true is that statement?
I can't confirm or deny anything, Ethan, but I will say that one time I was at my daddy's house and I walked into the living room after my bedtime and I saw him and some of his friends that couldn't speak English so good packing flour into little plastic baggies. I looked over the coffee table and noticed about 10 grand sitting there without anybody protecting it, and I was terrified of the greedy poor people that would go and take it. So I rushed in and I stuck all the money in my mouth.
Okay, so you're confirming that it's true.
No, that's not what I said. It's kind of like that one time that I was hanging out with my granddaddy and we were out in the middle of nowhere with these big, huge guns. And we got to the middle of these really isolated woods. My granddaddy said that we had to pull over so that he could get rid of his rug, which had been leaking a lot of what looked like tomato juice all over the trunk. He took his shovel and walked into the woods without me. And while I was waiting, I noticed this big briefcase. So I opened it to find about 100 grand in cash sitting without anybody to protect it. At first I thought, Kellyanne, we're out in the middle of the woods. No one is around. No poor person is going to steal this. But then I thought about the tar people, and I just couldn't help myself. So I shoved all of that sweet, sweet cash straight in my mouth.
Okay. Did you say tar people?
Yes, you heard about them, right? The greedy poor people who live in the tar?
The tar.
That's what I said, Ethan. They live and sleep in the tar.
Are you talking about people who live and sleep in their cars?
No, I'm talking about the people who live in the tar pits in the woods. Are you even listening? But, while you mention it, those people who don't have a home and have to sleep in their car, it's all a crazy scheme to steal cash and get rich.
What? If they're rich, why are they sleeping in their car?
Because if you're rich, you can sleep wherever you want.
Yeah, okay, so why car?
So you get richer, Ethan. Duh. Anyways, I believe we were talking about my heroism.
Yeah, okay, sure, go ahead.
The last time I stuck money in my mouth was in the middle of Hollywood, which, as you know, is riddled with poor people.
Okay, Hollywood is actually filled with famous movie stars.
Like I said, the poor. Anyway, I looked across the street and noticed a well-dressed man pulling out his wallet, and when he opened it up, I saw at least $100, and I knew exactly what had happened. That poor person had stolen that money.
Poor person? I thought you said he was well-dressed.
That's how you know they're poor. They'll try and fool you.
What?
I knew I had to get my mouth on that money, so I darted across the street, grabbed the wallet, and swallowed all the money without even chewing.
It sounds like you just stole that man's money.
No, I saved it from being stolen.
Saved it? Saved how? The money was ruined after you ate it.
That's the thing, Ethan. 6 hours later, when the money comes out, it comes out whole.
Okay. I think I've heard enough.
You just wouldn't understand. You're too poor.
Okay, for the record, I'm not poor at all, while everyone else who works on the show does it on a strict volunteer basis.
Do you really?
I get paid with actual gold treasure and have accumulated so much that I'm a trillionaire.
I doubt that.
No, look, it's true.
Holy crap, what are you doing? This building is filled with poor people.
What are you doing? It's my money. Wait, you can't take that. Kellyanne Conway, everyone. Well, that's all for tonight. Our final prediction is that you'll find yourself watching us once again this time next week. Please remember to conduct your nightly worship of the squid. I'm Ethan Yu. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week.